Hello folks, I'm back again, and today I'm taking a look at the infamous Six Siege. Pausing for a thumbnail. This is not a glorious all-in unboxing. This is an unboxing of just the retail version. I was able to get this because Mythic is offering some copies, some leftover copies after I guess they get what they're going to give to the backers that supported them all the way through, I guess. I did not back the crowdfunding campaign for this. I saw it and thought it was interesting, but I was kind of off Mythic at that point, so I decided not to do it. The same's true with the Steam Watchers. That's back here. I bought it in the same scenario. It arrived. They had extra copies in their office or whatever, and then they made them available to the general public, and I snatched it up. This was not a particularly cheap game. This is not a particularly cheap game. I don't know I think a particular type of gamer will be interested in this. So this isn't a review of this game. I have played it already. I got a chance to play it with my friend Paulo, and Paulo and Owen and I had a nice discussion about it. If you'd like to see that, there'll be a link at the end of this video. But this is not going to be a review of that. But I did obviously have a good enough time to spend this amount and get just this copy. So there's no Kickstarter extras, there's nothing in it. This is just what you get from the retail version, in case someone wanted to know. I don't know how widely available these will be either, because the odds of a reprint on this seem kind of unlikely at this point, but it could happen. I mean, someone else could pick it up. Mythic could just kind of rebound and suddenly start making lots of games again. But as it is now, it was a good game. One of the better Mythic games that I'd played. And so I decided to just get it. I do like their games. I give them a lot of crap and stuff, mostly because of the crowdfunding situation and stuff. But I have enjoyed their games. I like Solomon Kane for the most part. I bought way too much of it, but I do like it. And I really love Steam Watchers. I want to get in and paint that. In fact, that might be one of my next painting projects. All right, so here we are inside of the box. I have pulled the plastic away from the cardboard in here and kind of nosed through some of the components just to kind of make sure everything was straight before I committed to having this. If there was a problem, in short, if there was a problem, I wanted to notify Mythic right away, because it did take about upwards of a month to receive this. So they sent me like the early pre-order because I've been a customer with them before. I don't know if it was from the Steam Watchers or something else, but they sent me this like, hey, come early and have a peek here at these games that we're selling. So I did. I think I sent Owen a link too. I don't think he got anything, but I decided to just pick up the core box. I resisted any FOMO of like anything extra. I haven't done the plastic scenery pieces or extra maps or anything. The only thing I kind of want a little bit is the extra maps, but I'm okay with not having it. I think at this point what I would just really enjoy is a nice complete core box that has enough to play. Sometimes the core versions of games aren't really enough. I have a feeling this is going to be just fine. What I've seen from the other Mythic creations is that sometimes beyond the core box they start really stretching the ideas of things. So it's like it's good. It's more good. It's more good. It's more good. But at a certain point, it's like you're never going to play it enough to need all that. And although I think I'll play this a lot, I'm pretty sure this core box is going to be doing me real good for a while. All right, so let's take a look at these components here. And like I said before, I have unwrapped everything. Looks like we've got some player boards. I did play this once, but I'm by no means an expert in this. So if I make a mistake, give me some grace there. Bear with me on that. And yet more player boards. So basically, there's a defenders and invaders kind of scenario. So you're either, and I forget which is which. I think the blue ones are the invaders, and the orange ones are the defenders. So probably the opposite of that. Lots and lots of these player boards. Boy, I don't remember there being that big a variety inside of the inside of here. But that's cool. Lots and lots of these. And now we've got some chits. This does have a fair bit of iconography. It's all real straightforward. It's made to be pretty streamlined. In fact, the rule sets are pretty tight because there is a time limit on this stuff. Now, you can play it untimed, and I think we did our first mission untimed. And then we tried to do it more properly with a timed thing. The other thing to note, too, is that this has an app that you can install. But the app is basically just a timer, or maybe a specialized timer. I actually haven't downloaded it yet. I probably will. Might as well, right? And it is something free that you can get. But again, if Mythic moves on, it doesn't update the app, and then it just goes away. It's just a timer, you know. So if you know how to play, and if the rules spell it out, which I'm sure they do, you probably don't need it. All right. Or if you're just opposed to having electronics at the table. Some people are. Some people are indeed. Now, I'm just kind of going through these punch boards and talking about things. And I hope that doesn't bother you too much. Because it's all just a bunch of icons and different things. There is a lot of chits in this game, it seems like. I think a lot of these are for the scenarios. And there'll be different objectives and stuff like that. And this here... what we've got here are interiors, so we'll be able to punch these out. We'll make little office furniture. We got desks and tables and stuff like that. They don't bother with chairs because that would be kind of fiddly. It looks like there might be a vending machine or something like that. Maybe. I'm not certain. All right. I believe these are like little place markers for after your character goes. Maybe you put that over them or something like that. Oh boy, it's been a minute since I played this. It was a lot of fun, but it's been well over a month since I played it, so I'm not too certain on some of these. I do know this is furniture. I believe this is there's some. These little chits, I believe, are for, there's like an unknown aspect from the invader's perspective for what's going on inside. So the defenders can put like little fake you out little chits down versus actually having their players on the board. Or maybe there's some mixture of it. I'm not certain. So any one of these could just become like one of those characters or something. So I think that's what that was. And then right here we got a poster. We got a big poster with all the different characters. And these are characters from the video game. I have never played this video game. I probably won't. I don't play video games anymore. I used to. I used to play a lot of Call of Duty. I used to play a lot of Halo. That ages me out, I'm sure. Yep, here's a poster, which is interesting, probably more if you played the game online and you know all the characters. We got a sticker sheet here, and I thought, what's funny is I thought these were blank, and I won't be able to get in enough to really show you, but they actually have names. Yeah, there's no way that's going to focus, though. There's actually names in here. It's really hard to see, but they're to put names on the bases and stuff. We've got some instructions to help us construct some of the little plastic cameras, stands, and stuff like that, and indicating that there are stickers on here. I honestly thought that sheet was blank. It's like, wow, they really messed that one up. My bad. All right, so we got some rule books. This is the rules. These are the rules. And I have not looked at this at all. Seems like there's actually a lot going on in here. Luckily, I'm about to go on a trip, so I can just sit and read this rule book. And that'll be nice. Boy, it was really easy to be taught this. The rules are a little bit more than I expected, actually, because it was so simple when we played it. Then the mission guide. This is probably how to set up for the missions and stuff. Yeah, little maps and instructions for where to put the different objectives and cameras and whatnot. Dear Operator. I'm not reading all that. Oh, this is Mythic thanking us from the bottom of their heart. And a call for grace on the back. All right. Here are the player aids. Now, this is pretty much as far as I got when Paulo was showing us the game. Very, very complete in terms of giving you everything you need everything you need to know. This thing, I think at its heart, is a two-player game. And between these two sides, you've got most of the game right here. So it is a two-player game, so there's two-player aids. You can extend that out to 3 and even 4 players. I get a feeling that's not really the way the game was designed, but it seemed to work. We had fun with Paulo, teaming up on Paulo. It's especially cool if you're going to team up on somebody, in a one against many sort of scenario, on somebody that's taught you the game or is teaching you the game. So it's a little bit more, you get to split your time and your brain power up. Let's take a look at the board. The board is quite large, and it's dual-sided, so there's another map on the other side. All right. So I pulled that focus out as much as I can, and I wonder if it'll be easier to see right here. The board seems nicely constructed. It's very typical board game board. Nothing really remarkable, good or bad. All right. I'm going to try the other side here. This looks more like a... Oh my gosh. This looks more like a residence or a cabin, perhaps. Again, really nice. A lot of detail in there. Looks like it'll be fun to play on. And I think all we have left are... Well, no, there's a few things left. So here are the miniatures. Of course, Mythic does what they typically do, which is they put the plastic insert with usually no instructions for how to put the stuff back, and in a box here. We'll open that last. Let's see just what else we got. We got blue team's little bases. This is what you put all those names on if you want to maybe change who the characters are. We have some... Pull this in. We have some little plastic pieces. These are for a camera. And these are all things that you kind of assemble, and I assume they just stay assembled. And we have, I think these are like Wi-Fi jammers and routers or something like that. They go on the wall. Also, we have some little exclamation point tokens. These are the rest. Another part of that camera, anyway, that's the little... They have these little transparent stands that they put on, so they kind of mimic being there next to walls and stuff, which is pretty neat. Some more little components that go onto those little stands. I don't know exactly what they are. Here's another couple of things on there. So I guess there's a lot of rules and objectives around all of these. I remember the cameras somewhat. Some more little stands. I'm not sure how those things assemble. I'll have to take a look at those instructions again real quick. They do. It does show you how to put it all together. So all these components and stuff will just kind of be assembled on here. Got some little blue clips and some orange clips. And these look like little like little Google Maps icons or something inside of here. And we got some orange bases, much like the blue bases. We've got one set of dice. I did not pay for the extra dice. It was $20 to get another set of these. They are custom dice. They're not They're not typical, not only with the color, but they're the amount of pips on the side. So they are unique, but I did not want to spring 20 bucks for more of them. This is more components that will be assembled into these things. We got some little shiny cubes to mark different aspects of things, and we got a whole bunch of these little standee stands to kind of help with the walls and doors and different objectives and stuff. They all fit on these little standee stands. Yeah, so here we have attacker and defender extra player boards. You'll be using these cubes to interact with these things. That's where these cubes are going to land on here. And I think you can use these to sort of upgrade your abilities and stuff throughout the game. You got these, which are little lasers for line of sight that are meant to look like a little laser. That's what the red line is. But this you'll be tracing your line of sight through objects and stuff to see if you have viable targets or not. They're kind of interesting little plastic pieces here. And that is everything but the miniatures. I would like to do something at the end of this where I take all this cardboard and I assemble it and see if it all fits back in the box, because that's something I care about. Also, a lot of this stuff in here, like this is all going to get assembled into these little components. And I'm not sure if you make every one of these at the same time, but I'm going to find out, because that affects the way. And also, these things, I don't like taking things on and off of these stands and stuff. So I'll be curious to see if these, how many of these I can get made. Well, there's not going to be a lot of room left in here after I do all of that. So I'm going to pull all of these out and assemble them and see how much room it takes up, along with the rest of this stuff. But let's take a look at the miniatures. So here they are. And it's interesting, this tray looks like it's got room for something else right here. Maybe those are the characters, like the little character banners or something like that. Right here, we have the smoke. Or I think this one's smoke, and this is like some sort of poisonous gas or something like that. Almost looks like fire. One of them definitely is fire. I'm sure there are fire bombs and other things you can throw. These are little plastic pieces, and I believe, if I'm correct, they sort of fit together like, there you go. It does go together pretty easily. Let's see how this other one does. It's supposed to be like a partial or something. Like maybe it covers a couple of rooms or something like that. They have some interesting rules for the way these work, these little fire pieces. That's kind of neat. And although you do put them together, they also come apart super easy too. Not in a way that's going to make them like hard to play with, but definitely easy to just keep in here like so, which we're going to do. And we've got other smoke for like poisonous gas and stuff, and it looks like it assembles the same way. Let's put that in there. I don't know if these are in bags because they're going to go all over. That'll have to be something I experiment with, but I've got like a bazillion of these bags, so I'll be able to improvise if I decide I need them later. And here are the smoke grenades. Toss them in there. We've got what looks like a first player token here. This little 6 siege thing. Alright, we're going to use this box lid as a background to make this a little easier to see. And I'm going to bring these out. We'll just check them out as we go. So here's the first player token, which is a really cool 6 siege logo. Complete little bullet holes and a gun for a hole there. I believe this piece is a drone. Looks like it's got little wheels on either side. So that's kind of interesting there. Alright. We've got a couple of bombs. We've got a blue one, an orange one, and another orange one. These are pretty nicely detailed. I like it. This has a laptop on the bottom of it. Interesting. Maybe one's like a primary, and these will like trigger, so you could do maybe a partial victory by getting maybe one of them. Well, I'm not going to speculate. I'm not going to speculate as to what happens there. So, all right. So just continue down this bottom row with people. We've got a number of operators here. They all look very official. Let's get a close-up of one of these. Smooth operator. I probably should put these on a turnstile or something. Mythic is known for having really, really nice components and stuff, so this is no exception to that. The models look really cool. They have something to kind of indicate where the front is on this, which is nice too. Sometimes the sculpts don't always give away that. One thing they aren't particularly good about is making these so they're easy. So when you just got a core box, it's not a big deal. If you got like one of those Kickstarter things with a whole lot of extra stuff in it, sometimes it can be a little difficult to figure out where things go inside of this stuff. We've got another guy here. Looks like he's holding he's probably remote detonating a bomb or something like that. Could be. Don't want to make an accusation. It isn't true. Could be. It's like, that's my job. This guy over here. Sharp shooting. I do intend to paint these too. There's just, especially if I can convince myself to go down to one little tiny box and versus going all in on some major Kickstarter or something. We're going up the second row now. Second row of stuff. Anytime I can convince myself to take a look at this and just be happy with the core box. There's plenty of stuff in there to excite me. There's a lot of games, I think, in that core box, especially when it's that quick. I think once I know the rules real well and stuff and I'm able to teach them, I think I'll be going through these pretty quickly. And maybe I'll get bored. And if I do, there'll be people out there that want to sell their maps and stuff. Speaking of which, if you'd like a whole bunch of extra Solomon Kane stuff, let me know. I've definitely been looking at my Solomon Kane and watching very closely so they sold that IP, and the people that picked it up have now made it's the people that do Conan. I'm having trouble remembering their name right now, but they actually are doing a role-playing game. So they've got all the art, and they've kind of taken the tiles and they've redecorated them a little bit from the scenario tiles and stuff. They made them bigger and they took away all the little weird lines for, movement in the old game. And all the art and all the miniatures. And now they're re-releasing it as a role-playing game. So that's interesting. Looks like we've got a hostage. I don't remember playing with this guy. I think we played a bomb scenario. Maybe that's why I don't remember him too much. But yeah, we've got just one of these little hostage fellows. Let's do two at a time. And now we're on to the orange guys. Lots of detail in here. Lots of little. I love the detail in the shirt, for instance, like all the wrinkles in here. It really makes it look realistic when you add a little dry brushing into your paint jobs and stuff, and you see little details like that. Impressive. This guy looks huge. I guess he's armored, so that makes sense. Again, really liking the details on these. Nicely crafted miniatures. not a tremendous amount to say about anything in particular. Like, if I played the game, I feel like I'd probably have a little bit more commentary about how these match up with the video games. But that might be kind of hard to tell. I'll be looking at these guys a lot more in depth as I go to attempt to paint them, which is, of course, my next project. I've been painting Dungeons and Lasers really slowly over the past couple of weeks. I'm going to finish up this box set, and then I'm going to probably pivot into this. So for the very few times that I've chosen to really just kind of keep it to just a core box set, and if I like the miniatures a lot, I love to paint it. I love to just have a nice painted core box. And that's something I do too. Like if you're looking to paint your miniatures or something and you're too daunted by the overall project, start with a core box. That'll show you which of your expansions you really wanted and which you didn't want. Start with that core box. And if you finish that and you still feel like looking at the game, it's usually a miracle. Usually what happens to me is I'll go through and paint all these things, and then I put it away for about a year. And then when I come back to it, I'm really super happy that I painted them. It's sort of this thing that happens every time I paint one of these. I ended up putting it down and just not picking it back up. So we'll see if that happens here. All right, now the fun part where we pack it up. I've pulled out all the punch boards. I've assembled all these little tables and whatnot. There's quite a few of them. I've went ahead and put some of these in here. I will say these things do benefit from just a little dab of Elmer's glue. So as you're putting it together, or as you start to build these, just go ahead and pull out some Elmer's glue. It's going to make all of this a lot less frustrating, especially going and putting it in and out. These tables fit in here, and a lot of these things, a lot of these tables are really fighting me in terms of like falling apart and stuff. Not because they're difficult to assemble or anything particularly, but they're just loose enough to where they come apart as you go to manipulate them. Now this won't be a big deal when you're playing the game. You know, you're going to kind of set them down on the table, but I mean, if you so much as tap one of these things, they seem to want to fall apart. So I'm testing this mainly to see if they can remain assembled as I put them back in the box, and kind of see how much room. This little area right here seems like it was made for this. It is the perfect size to store these things built up. And I'm just going to go through and quickly put them all in here. I will be hitting this with the Elmer's glue as soon as I get the opportunity. Next time these things come out, they're getting a little dab of glue to make sure that this isn't such a frustrating process. All of these things are letter coated and stuff. They got little letters to kind of indicate how the parts go together, and they do push together and stay together for a second or two, but then they instantly fall apart, like paper craft tends to do. So yeah, just a little dab of Elmer's glue would make that all go away. All right, so here's all the furniture and stuff. We've also got quite a bit of these things, these little doorways and stuff like that. So I think maybe I'm going to start stacking them up in here. I'm hoping I'm going to have room for my chits and other things too. What I just super don't want to do is be assembling these things every time. But I'm thinking, yeah, especially if I stack them up a little bit, there's going to be no problem fitting all these things with their stands attached. They don't stand up. They're about the same height, so you could just stack, especially the smaller ones, just kind of set them in here. There's quite a few of these, though. Quite a few of these here. We've got now we've got these little wall stands and stuff. We're going to put them in. Well, this seems like the bottom part seems like it's sufficient for holding all these 3D components. It does leave us with quite a bit more that we're going to have to work into the top of the box. It doesn't really have any kind of component management at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm looking in here. I'm looking to see what kind of extra space. I think we got enough extra space maybe for these dice. Let's go ahead and stick the dice in there. Is that going to mess this up? Let's go move that out of the way. So it's sitting on its own. Yeah. All right. I think that looks okay. That's about as much, utilized about as much as I can utilize it right there. We do have quite a few more things. It is interesting to note that there were, in the assembly of these things, there were a bunch of extra pieces, or not a bunch, but there's a fair amount of extra little PC parts that I kind of wondered about. Also, inside of this part, this next part that goes in, the miniatures, inside of here, there were those two little areas, those little circular divots on the side here that looked like something went in there. That's where the bases go. And I went ahead and I put the bases inside of there. Oh, the other thing I did too is I took out the smoke. I put the smoke in just like a bag here. And I used that area to store all the cameras and those little wall-mounted things. I've also thrown in a couple little bags of chits on top of there to kind of keep those managed. So I've got a couple of little bags of chits in there already. Because I haven't played this game very much. In fact, my first game was just the other day. I decided just to kind of separate a lot of these components by color. Like there's definitely some blue stuff and some orange stuff. These were, and there are just a lot of these orange ones. There weren't any blue ones, I guess, because this is like the defense or whatever. So I just left it. And all these other little individual things in bags, I just kind of left them the way they were. I rebagged all these. I took them out of that and put them into here all together. Seems to work all right. I am worried about getting all of these things in. These are all those little player boards and stuff for all the different little characters that you can be. So let's start putting stuff back in here. I'm going to start with the most inflexible thing, and that's going to be the player board itself. Then we've got this poster, which I guess is pretty optional. Looks like I've missed one of my barricades, so we'll just toss that in there. Alright, so I guess next let's do these things. Let's see how many I can get across. That leaves a little bit of room there. So we can put these things in. And then the blue ones. Maybe I could go sideways and do 2 stacks there. Alright, at least it's just a little bit of space. Oh boy, these things are taking up a lot of space. These smoke bombs. Might need to split that up. Looks like we'll be lifting a little bit on our lid here. Got a couple of little tokens. Like that might have been able to go in the bottom. In fact, these might have been able to go into the bottom. Oh, we got just a couple little things here. Oh no. We got these two. We got these two. And we've got these little blackout things. And that's the end of it here. Let's see. Then the rule set. Alright. I'm thinking this is a just barely. No, we're definitely going to be some lid lift in this configuration. Almost. We'll give it a good solid almost on that. It's a little fat. I think I can optimize it. I'm going to try again. All this is coming out. Alright, here we are inside the box. You know what? I've got these things and these things. Let's kind of go with these stands. I wish there was a little bit more space in there. I could slide these things in. Maybe, let me trade out some stuff here. Put these things in. We can put these things in here. We take these other plastic components, put it in there. Got all these little exclamation point components. Got just a few chits, a few little bags with some, like a small amount of chits in there. That can go in that. That would be neat if this could go in there. I think that's going to be a little much. Put those guys in there. No other small bag. Oh, I do have one more small bag of chits. That should round that out pretty good. Okay. Make good use of this that little storage area there. I'm just going to go in first to kind of see how we're doing. That wants to push up, but I think it's going to be all right. There we go. Boop. That seems to go right in. Alright, so that's all sorted out. I did have one of these that I missed before. Go ahead and put that back in there. Okay. Now, I need to make a little bit more room. And I'm not sure how to do that. I think maybe I'm going to take these small wall segments and move them up here a little bit. Not too many, but some of these things are pretty short, so maybe I can just do that. Alright, so I've got a little bit more room now inside of here. I'd like to take something super bulky and put it in here. Like these smoke grenades. Oh boy, these are going to be a pain. I think what I might do is split these up into 2 bags. How about smoke in one bag and everything else in another bag? Alright. One bulky thing I could probably stick in here would be these different player color pieces. Oh boy, I'm really starting to push this up. I think I'm going to start transferring some of these over to the other side. These walls don't seem to do as well as some of these doors. Of course, I can put them in upside down. Oh, that works better. Okay, put some of these in upside down over here. When you start running out of space or start sticking up too far. Alright. Whew. I am not sure if this is going to be a pain to pull out or what. But I got those in there. I feel like that's pretty good. Alright. Let's try again here. Boom. Got the player board. Now, these things, these things, these things, these things, these things, game things. All right. All right. Okay. Still good, I think. I'll split some of these up so I can make a couple of layers. This big bulky thing right there. Well, you know what? We'll put this big bulky thing right there. This thing. Oh, I feel like if that were in a bigger. Sometimes if it's just in a bigger bag, it would help. Like this might be in a bag that's too small. A bigger bag, I can make that a little flatter. So let me look at that again. These little blank spaces are just kind of loose in here. We'll just kind of put them in a sort of a proportionate way here. Oh, and we got the dice. Dice are really inflexible. Alright, now we're in a bigger bag where we can spread this out a little bit. You know what, it's still not perfect, but it's probably going to have to just be good enough. Got the little laser sights. Don't take up much space at all. And then of course we got all the paperwork. Oh boy, you know what? I think this is good. This looks like it's going to be acceptable. All right. I'll take it. Good enough. There may be further optimization that can be done. I'm not saying that necessarily what I've put together here is the best, but it's the best way I could figure out without knowing the game super, super well. But hopefully I do know it eventually. Let's give it a spin. I'm not hearing a tremendous amount of mayhem in there. I don't think that that's doing the stuff in the top any favors, but it might be tight enough to where it's not like going everywhere. Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Not too chaotic in here. There's probably a few of these things that could be moved around to further decrease that last little bit of lid lift. But I think it's this stuff actually that's doing that. So maybe moving some stuff around, I can kind of get all that down. Oh, now I think I've got it perfect. Okay, and that's it. Oh yes, there we go. Perfect, perfectly aligned. Even got room for this weird bag of extra stuff. I'll just put that in here somewhere. Okay, all right. Well, folks, that has been my unboxing of the Plain Jane Retail Rainbow Six or Six Siege board game. I'm happy to have this. Excited to play it. Let me know what you think about this game. Did you get it? Did you set up the inside of this box any differently? Folks, if you made it this far, be sure to click like and subscribe. I'd love to see you again. If you'd like to see more of this, I've got a whole playlist of unboxings right there. And here's some other crazy stuff that YouTube thinks you might like. Until next time, enjoy your games, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye.